East Idaho now has another organized hockey club to cheer for, the ISU Bengals hockey team. The man behind this undertaking is our guest, a coach with more than 10 years' experience developing players and successfully guiding competitive teams, including taking some of these teams multiple times to the Idaho State Tournament Championship. Coach Shawn Gardner. Coach, welcome and thanks for joining us on this podcast. Before we talk about the season and the upcoming schedule, why don't we talk a little bit about starting a new program? Whether at college or at any level is not an easy task, is it? Can you share with us a bit about the process of putting a team together and developing a new program?
Surely I can. This really started, and there's more behind this program than just me, because it really started with two players, Dusty Gardner and Kendall Olson. And Dusty had played for BYU in the ACHA, and Kendall had played for BSU in the ACHA, and they both had come back to the Idaho Falls area, and they were skating together on Thursday nights, playing with the Budman, and they both were talking about how they still had college eligibility left, and they should start an ACHA team at ISU. Dusty talked to me, and I actually at first I told him that this was going to be a huge undertaking, but if he really wanted me to do it, I would try to help him get this going. And this was about about 11 months ago. And so Dusty started trying to recruit players. We talked to a lot of different players through the winter. But what's really hard is when you don't have a program established, recruiting is really difficult. Our next step was we went visited a lot of players at the state high school tournament in Sun Valley, and then we held a camp. We held our first camp in March in Idaho Falls, and we picked up a few players there. Pitt found a couple guys that were going to ISU that were already were hockey players and attending the school. A young man named Adam Ellis is one of the first kids to join us, and we were getting limited interest from a couple other Idaho Falls kids, a young man named Clayton Roner and a young man named Christian Netto, and we kept pushing. And then they decided they went and decided they really wanted to join and help with the project. And that got us into midsummer. And by midsummer, we only had 5 players who were going to come play for ISU. And we just kept working it. And they were working with some of their friends. We were contacting other players. We did not actually have a team to where we felt like we were going to have a team until 2 days before school started. And in fact, one young man, Gabriel Lopez, was actually working in Illinois, and Clayton Roner contacted Gabe and said, "Hey, you want to come play hockey?" And Gabe said, "Yeah, I'm coming home." So he comes home 2 days before school starts, gets enrolled so he could play with us. So with all these efforts, we finally got to where we had 12 skaters and 2 goalies. Now, ACHA level hockey is a very fast-paced game, and I told the boys flat out, I said, it's going to be rough. This is going to be Ironman hockey. If we're going to approach this league with 12 skaters, it's just flat out, everybody's got to be tough, got to be in shape, and it's going to be a character-building year. But they have stepped up, and everything I've asked them to do, they have done, to the point now that we actually were able to declare with ACHA and start our probational season.
Coach, had most of your players remained actively playing, or had they hung up the skates, so to speak?
Some had just come out of high school. Ken Combo is an example, kid that just graduated last spring, and he's joined us. Some of them had been playing in the men's league and decided to get back into a more competitive level of hockey. Clayton Roner had been playing junior hockey. Christian Netto had been playing junior hockey. Kendall Olson and Dusty they'd been playing, but they'd been out of ACHA hockey, each of them, for 2 years. So they have to get back into it. We had one young man join the team. His name's Kelton Rorick, and he's going to school at ISU, and he's from British Columbia, and just happened to find out we're starting a team, and he joined us. But he hadn't played in a few years, so they've had to do a lot of work getting their legs back under them and getting back to game conditioning.
Obviously, you needed help. So where did you find your assistant coaches?
One of my stipulations when I agreed with Dusty that I would coach this team is if one guy would help me. He's an IFYHA coach. His name's Eric Netto. And we had coached together for years. And I told him, I said, if Netto will come help me, we'll do this. Because he's a real high energy guy. He always positive. He's just the perfect guy for helping with this program. And so Eric and I started, and we talked a lot, and we talked about different coaches. And he brought up another guy who had just moved in the area about a year ago, and his name is Mitch Craven. Well, Mitch Craven had played college hockey at U of U. When I approached him, he was all over helping us get this program off the ground. He had basically done the same thing when he was a player at U of U. So he was a big asset. And that's where we started. And then Mitch Craven came to me and he goes, I know a goalie coach you need to talk to. And so he brought in Curtis Mahoney, and I met with Curtis and we talked about his credentials, and he is a great goalie coach and just a great guy to have around. And it's getting coaches was actually easier than finding players. As I approached these guys, each one of them was all over helping me start this program. They're fully committed, and they want to make this happen and make it work, to help hockey grow in Eastern Idaho.
Your season has already started, and you face tough challenges from more experienced and more established programs. Can you tell us how you see your team doing this season as they develop and gain experience? In other words, what goals have you set for the ISU Bengals hockey program this season?
Well, number one goal for all these boys is to go to school and get some education. That's the number one goal. Number two goal is to play hockey and develop this program. Now, when I talk about goal setting, as far as you stated, we've already started our season. We've played 2 games, and they were not easy. They definitely were not easy opponents. We played Weber State, who was number 4 in the Mountain West. We played Utah State, number 5 in the Mountain West. 2 of the toughest teams I could have put these boys out against. And all I ask the boys is to keep working as hard as they can and stay positive no matter what happens. And they did that. We played Weber State, and we got beat pretty good. But the mood in the locker room after that game, there was no sniping, there was no arguing. The guys just like, okay. And then the next day we traveled to Logan, played Utah State. We had a much better showing. The boys started playing together as a team. And I'll also add, before we had that first game at Weber State, we'd only had 6 on-ice practices together as a team. So I threw these boys into a really tough situation. And all they've done so far is show me character and that they'll stand up to anything and keep playing. Well, we have a couple teams coming in this weekend. And I know as we progress through our first 2 games, and we had practice last night, and we'll have practice tomorrow night, and the boys are just getting better and better. And I can't at this point predict that we'll even win a game this year, but I do know with the character of this team that we will fight through the adversity. I guess I can sum this up as our goal is to get through this season, get established as a program, and then we'll have better luck recruiting more players this coming year and get the boys more help. If we had 3 lines right now, I'm skating 2 lines, Ironman hockey. If we had 3 lines, these games would be different. The boys are getting tougher and tougher, and there's not an ounce of quit in any of them.
Coach, any players that you see playing a leadership role on the ice and helping develop this team to the next level?
The guys who are really stepping up are 4 captains, Dusty Gardner, Clayton Roner, Christian Netto, and Kendall Olson, because they've all got higher level experience, and they all have the proper attitude. And I think those 4 boys are just kind of set the tone for the team, and they're helping their teammates. And then, the rest of the team is showing just an energy level that's been amazing. Gabe Lopez, who I already mentioned, the kid just skates hard. And Gabe goes out every game and plays just as hard as he can. Another young man named Adam Ellis, and he and Gabe skate on the same line. And both those boys, they give it everything they got. They're really good examples. Then they got, another young man we picked up. And he started school. He actually got into ISU after the school year started, but he's actually in a master's program, so he doesn't actually start classes until the second 8 weeks. but his name is Hunter Levitt, and he's just a very solid player, and he's really good with his teammates and provides more leadership. I don't know if I could ask a better group of leaders. They just want to make it work, and they do everything they can to make it work.
From your perspective, what will constitute a successful season for your program?
Right now, everything's building towards, I really want to get this, everybody developed, working together, playing together. We have a 3-game set against Utah Valley University in January. And if we could come out of those 3 games with 1 win against an existing program, that would be huge. That's our stretch goal. The main goal is to just learn, develop, and get the program off the ground and running and show that we are here and we are for real.
In closing, what would you like to say to the hockey fans in East Idaho?
Well, we would love to see the community of Pocatello or another community in Idaho, around Idaho Falls, surrounding area, to put up another rink so we have more ice time. We would really love to be able to have some place to play in Pocatello where ISU is, based, and we could play right there at home. That's a big goal. More of a short-term goal is to get through this season with positive attitudes, no players injured, and be able to develop this program to show them that we're for real, that we're here, and that we can recruit more help. And next year, which will actually be, the way the ACHA works, you go through a probationary season. And basically that probationary season is to show that you can field a team and you can run a program. And we've got a team, we've got our program off the ground, and it's getting better day by day. And basically that's our real goal, is just to be established and taken seriously, so that when it comes time to start recruiting players in February and March, we can recruit more players and have a more solid team in the next year. But the community support I've seen already has been amazing. How many people reached out to us, want to come out, they want to support the boys, they want to see games. I really think if we can show them that we're for real and that we're going to be here, that this will just continue to grow hockey in the Eastern Idaho area. Well, I'd like to ask everyone to come out and support the boys, come to our games. Our games are our fundraisers. That's how we support the club. If people are out there would be so inclined as to help sponsor, we're looking for sponsors. Anything we can do to help build this program with any help from the community would be wonderful. Another note would be, if you've never seen a live hockey game, you need to come out this week. Our season opens the 6th and we have a game on the 7th. If you've never seen a live hockey game, you need to come out and see a live hockey game, because it's so much better in person. Because it's electrifying when you're watching the game there. And I would like to bring that to more and more people, that they can see what hockey is, the level of hockey that's played at the ACHA level, how fast it is, and just get a feel for it. Hopefully we get more fans and more people to understand the sport and support the sport.
Coach, we are proud of everything that you and your team have achieved. Obviously, just putting a team together on the ice constitutes a win. Again, thank you for joining us on our podcast, and all the best to you and your team this historic season.
Thank you.